Have you ever wanted to make your own cryptocurrency? Well, it's easy. You can just take Bitcoin and make a few changes. It's free. Bitcoin is open source. You do not have to get permission to do this. Now you have your own blockchain project, your own coin. The trick is getting other people to use your coin. So since Bitcoin's creation in 2009, many have tried to improve the formula with varying degrees of success. Today we'll go over some of those projects that have split off from Bitcoin, forks as they are called, going over some well-known and more obscure ones. We won't have time to hit them all. I don't do 12-hour streams, but let's check out a few. Arguably the most successful fork, but that is like being the biggest loser. While it still survives today, Bitcoin Cash has absolutely punished the people like Roger Ver, Jihan Wu, who invested heavily in this, thinking it would flip BTC. They put so much capital, so much brain power into this, and got absolutely destroyed. Same could be said for all these forks, right? I mean, nothing has flipped to Bitcoin in value and users, but Bitcoin Cash at least has some people out there who allegedly use it. If you search for pictures online, there are a lot of stores with stickers saying they accept it. When I went to Japan, I embarrassingly had some Bcash with me looking to spend it, and not once did I see a store that would take it, although I did see some places that were accepting actual Bitcoin. The green color they use is pretty pleasing to the eye. Something about green is supposed to be calming, comfy to look at. Watchmakers like green mats if they're looking down at something all day. I hate Bitcoin Cash, but they did a nice job choosing a logo. Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision, which objectively is just a very cool name. The dragon is a little bit much, but what should we expect? Craig has autism. While Bitcoin Cash tries to play this middle ground about increasing the block size, Bitcoin SV wants to go all out and have astronomical block sizes, like putting the movie Avatar on the blockchain. The fact that it is about $44 trading on the market right now at this point just shows how early we are. Bitcoin Gold tries to allow for CPU and GPU mining, which I do follow their thought process, right? If you can mine something on a cheap laptop, in theory, it should mean more people would mine, right? You don't price out the common man with expensive equipment. So I don't have hate towards this project. It's not a blatant scam. It's just what we've learned is that users are incentivized by other things, and Bitcoin Gold has less security. It's easier to attack these minority hash power forks. As far as the logo, it's fine. Bitcoin Diamond. If you held Bitcoin during block 495866, which was in 2017, you got 10 Bitcoin Diamond for every Bitcoin you had for free. So if we do some math, the total supply for all Bitcoin Diamond is 210 million. They changed the mining algorithm, increased the block size, apparently a big enough community to get listed on exchanges and have some puff piece articles written about it. But I would say this is a fringe case where it's a borderline joke. We'll get to some real jokes coming up. Bitcoin X. This forked on block 498888. Supply of Bitcoin X is 210 billion. For every BTC you held, you got 10,000 BCX. Also, a billion pre-mine. You know, what a joke. An easy way to discredit a project is if there's this huge pre-mine where the creator gets this extra dump of coins just out of thin air. Looks like they tilted out the top and bottom marks on the logo to make it an X. Not bad, kind of clever, but the color scheme is gross. Micro Bitcoin, 10,000 to 1, just like Bitcoin X. Oh my God, pre-mine of 6 billion. And this is the worst logo I have seen. I mean, if you can't get a graphic designer to give you something better than this, I mean, what other horrible decisions are getting made? So, Micro Bitcoin claims, like a lot of forks, that it can do transactions faster than Bitcoin. Instead of 10-minute blocks like Bitcoin, they have 1-minute blocks. I don't know what the most efficient, what is the perfect amount of time, but Satoshi did not pick 1-minute blocks for a reason. You need some wiggle room for the network to broadcast around the world. If you try to update the blockchain every minute, there's just too much chance multiple people, like one guy in Texas, one guy in China, will be mining the same block, creating two competing chains. This does still happen with Bitcoin, rarely, and gets figured out. But point being, there are pros and cons to any changes you make. And Bitcoin developers have gone over these little details for years and years. I'm not saying Bitcoin is perfect, but it's just not worth starting over for a little change like that. The Micro Bitcoin website makes it look legit. And I feel bad, I feel pain for anyone new to Bitcoin who might stumble upon this. They make it look normal, has a wallet, slick writing. Oh my God, I could just buy this for a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a penny. So what do they write here? Micro Bitcoin is to be listed and be part of the upcoming project that aims to build the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange and mining center. Part of an unknown project that aims to build the world's largest exchange and mining center. That's a good IQ test, right? If you fall for that, well. Bitcoin Holocaust removed 6 million coins from circulation. 15 million max circulating supply. Difficulty reduced back to 1. Logo is trash. Makes sense. Bitcoin interest from 2018, a 1-to-1 fork. 1.3 million pre-mine, as you do. So what's their gimmick? Well, as the name implies, you can lock in Bitcoin interest for a week or a month and generate more. Logical thing to do is to lock it in and keep getting free money. Free money, right? No. Generating more Bitcoin interest coins is not making you money. This concept of staking or yield got big with tokens on Ethereum, and it's people tricking themselves into thinking, they're generating income, forgetting that the token doesn't mean anything. Who is buying the token? It's like Hex, the perfect shitcoin that does all this mumbo jumbo to generate more Hex for people. But then what do you actually do with that? It's a good logo though. Bitcoin 2. By the way, if we can just stop and recognize, great name. So many projects have guys sitting around a meeting room for hours trying to think about marketing, the best name, the best logo. How do we convince people this is an improved Bitcoin? Just call it Bitcoin 2. Love it. Forked in June of 2018. I don't really think any change is worth mentioning, but didn't want to skip this. Good job. Bitcoin God. Bitcoin God forked in 2019, 1-to-1, with 4 million set aside to go to charitable causes. Pre-mine bad, but At least with charity, they can argue good intention. I used to be really into a project, Bible Pay, that had a similar idea. Part of the rewards would go to charity with a voting system to pick on what charity they were going to use. Hard to hate the overall premise, at least to me, right? I mean, my train of thought was, what makes a project valuable? It's the incentive system. Why should people use this particular project over others? When everything is open source, you need a motivator. I get the incentives for Bitcoin. It's obvious. It's the most secure. But religious faith, charitable giving, while more abstract, could be powerful. Faith motivates people, even if it is irrational. But the problem with Bitcoin God and Bible Pay is figuring out what is a good charity, how is that money used. There's a lot of politics and sketchy behavior going on with charity, and it isn't just so simple to throw money at problems to solve them. Also, the logo absolutely sucks. Super Bitcoin kind of looks like Beats by Dre, looks almost exactly like that. Fox BTC, people like the dogs, maybe they like little foxes too. Bitcoin Hush, very cyberpunk. Clams. This is all the way back from 2014, and this seems confusing. You could claim clams with Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Doge. For every address holding more than, I guess, 0.001 BTC, you got 4.605455574 clams. And listen, it's worth repeating. The point of digital currency is not just how can we send tokens back and forth, right? There are many ways to do that. The point of all this, the point of Bitcoin, is to send something that no one can censor, something no one can mess with. If a state actor wanted to take out clams, they absolutely could. No one out there is developing hardware wallets for clams, right? I mean, it's a joke. The project is basically dead. It's embarrassing, an exchange like Coinbase even mentions it. As far as the logo goes, however, I think this is cool. Love rainbow. Good stuff. Bitcoin reference line. What an ugly image. We go from a beautiful clam to this monstrosity. Supply is 143 million, 49 million held by the project. Their big innovation is to add a message to each transaction. See, this is what is so annoying. If you have a great idea, just propose it as a Bitcoin improvement proposal. Why fork the code and pre-mine a massive number of extra coins? It's because this isn't about improving Bitcoin. It's about quick profit. I also wanted to add the Bitcoin Testnet as an honorable mention in 2012. They restarted the Bitcoin blockchain to give developers room to experiment. You might be wondering why it's Testnet 3. Well, the first testnet was ruined after some guy started buying up testnet coins. The whole point was to allow for anyone to use it easily, but all of a sudden miners had to take it serious because there was an actual market value for these test coins. See, this is how degenerate people are, how desperate they are to trade. So you didn't have the freedom to mess around and just get some free testnet coins. So they restarted it with Testnet 2, and guess what? It happened again. People couldn't resist trying to buy Testnet coins. So for the third attempt, they had to make some changes to allow for easy mining. And basically, it's not an exact copy of the Bitcoin blockchain anymore. So those are some other options out there if you think Bitcoin is too boring. But if you do have an idea for a way you think Bitcoin can be improved, consider submitting a Bitcoin improvement proposal. Thanks for watching.